So now the last of these databases I want to show you is something that's called Popline. So Popline is actually a free database. It's made and maintained by the people at the Johns Hopkins School of Public Health. If I wanted to, I can just Google it and say I typed in Popline right here. We do have an index on our School of Public Health, the subject guide for, excuse me, public health. You could also just, if you want to just go to databases here, you could just go to P for Popline, but you can also just Google it. Any way you get there is going to be fine. So I'm just going to Google it myself. I'm just going to click on Popline right up here. So here it is, popline.org. So this again from the Hopkins School of Public Health. So Popline is an interesting database. So it's made and curated by, the Johns Hopkins Bloomberg School of Public Health. It's made and curated by their librarians. I think it has about 300,000 articles in there right now. And these, again, this is human curated. So their librarians go through, they find what they consider to be really relevant articles. So it's actually now 370,000. And they're just going to add that to this database themselves and make sure the links work, which is nice. And you see they just added 129 things last week. So it's still a really vital resource being updated all the time. I think when I first started using it, it was 300,000. So they've added 70,000 articles just in the last few years, which is fantastic. So Popline is, in a way, it's sort of like PubMed. It does have the controlled vocabulary. It does have subjects, but that's the best way we find actually search for that. You click on subjects here. These are the sort of topics that people have used most often. So, it's kind of limited down, which is nice. But actually what you want to do, sorry, that's what I meant to say. It has an advanced search feature like PubMed. So you have these sort of pre-programmed fields. Now, if you wanted, say, two different keywords, say I had one of the articles we saw recently was keyword was diabetes and tuberculosis. Again, you want to do those one at a time. So if I wanted to have two keywords, I just click on this little plus here to add another keyword box. So I could say diabetes and tuberculosis. But in this case, I know it's just diabetes. So I'd say start to type in your term here, and it's going to try to find you the match for the term they use for that particular concept. So obviously diabetes is going to work. The nice thing, because this is a public health database, region and country, again, regions are going to work. So if you wanted just sub-Saharan African or East Africa, that would work as a region. But I'm just going to use India because I just want that specific country, obviously. So it's going to put in India here, and that's going to work. I'm just going to say search. So Popline in this case brings back 30 results. So the great thing about Popline is it's going to find journal articles for you too. So you're going to see things when this DOI. So a DOI is just a link to a journal article that's not going to break. So if your friend's reading they're reading a newspaper, they're reading ESPN, whatever they're reading, and sometimes they send you a link to an article like you should check this out, and you don't respond to that email, it's a Facebook post you haven't seen in a couple of weeks, you'll click on that link and now it's broken. So whatever the link to that thing was, it expired. It was a temporary link and it just broke over time. A DOI is just a link to a journal article that will never break. It's a permanent link. So the interesting thing about Popline, like I said, it's made by the Hopkins School of Public Health. So they understandably think you're a Hopkins student or faculty member using this database. So when you click on this, it really wants to take you out to Hopkins Holdings, which we can't access coming from BU. So to make our lives easier, which was actually very nice, something I didn't have to do, I can click here where it says DOI. That's going to take me to the publisher for this journal. Because I've already logged into BU from the earlier searches I did, so in this case, this particular journal from Elsevier knows that I'm a BU person, so it linked me to BU's holdings, which we do get this journal, and I can click here just to get this PDF, which is nice. So, I didn't go to the Hopkins page, but this particular journal, Elsevier knew I was a BU person, and it still took me to the page I wanted to go to automatically, which is great. So always when you see the option you're in Popline, if there is a DOI, search DOI, definitely click on that to get to that particular resource. In some cases, though, because I also look at gray literature, so gray literature is anything that's just not in a peer-reviewed journal, basically, but there's still great resources like a white paper or an NGO, some other resource like that. So usually when you see one of those, it's going to say here full text. So typically, Web of Science and PubMed do not look at gray literature. They're not going to find things from NGOs. So Popline is a fantastic resource for articles like that. And in a case like this where it says full text, it'll usually take you right to the website of that particular resource. So in this case, it took me right to that PDF. So I don't even need a subscription to this journal. I don't even know what journal this is. Frankly, I think it's actually just some kind of a report carried by some kind of agency. and then it's going to take me directly to that resource, which is fantastic. So as you can see, Popline doesn't have quite as many, only 30 articles came back. We got whatever 700 Web of Science, but these are going to be articles you're probably not going to find anyplace else. So Popline is always a great resource for the kinds of information you need specifically in public health. And again, you do have some filters over here on the right-hand side. So, and these kind of vary by the search. They're not always going to be the same, but depends on. So if you just wanted, so 30 out of 30 here for diabetes, but 15 of these are research reports. Again, all 30 are going to come back as Asia, because obviously India is in Asia, or the Asian subcontinent. I can also filter by year. So it does some nice things here. If you just want to try to limit down the results you get to a more manageable number, but only 30 in this case isn't, so bad. It's certainly under our panic threshold of 100.